The moment you did that, you engineered out the vibe. Most tutorials treat this like a field decision. It's not, it's a read, and nobody's teaching you how to read it. Same 808, same kick, 3 different decisions. Every tutorial gives you one answer. Turn on the sidechain, the release, done. And the 808 and the kick can have 3 different relationships entirely. And each one calls for a completely different decision, mind you, doesn't clean up the low end. It kills the expression. Now in heavy music, like, EDM, the pump is the vibe, so you can understand it there. That's the point. Now in hip hop, the 808 is the thing. It bends, it sustains, it has expression to it. Slam heavy sidechain on an 808 and you've completely missed the plot. You engineered out the feeling. The sidechain is always in service to the track. It's not a default setting. Okay, 3 scenarios, 3 waveforms, proof for each. The diagnosis tells you which one we're in, so let's start there. I don't see this a lot in tutorials, so just mind you on this part. It feels like every other video goes straight to the compressor. We're going to the samples first, so number 1, samples. Step 1, kick alone. How long is the sustain? Short, punchy kick, is it sub, is it percussive? Does it make space naturally? If it's a long sustaining kick, it's going to compete. Keep that in mind. Okay, so step 2, 808 alone. How long is the sustain? Is it expressive? A long sliding emotional 808, that's an emotional instrument. A short static, it's like a tone, it's like a short one. That's more or less like a sub hit, it's a different thing. We would treat it differently, naturally. Okay, so step 3, play them together, listen first. Then look at the waveform, look at what's going on. Is there a collision in the sub range? Do you audibly hear that? Does the 808 need to be pulled back, or can they kind of coexist together? These are the decisions that we're making with our ears. Your ears make the call, and then you can kind of look at the waveform to confirm it. Sidechain here would rob the 808 of its moment, so we don't use it. Here's the fix instead. First thing that I like to do, EQ carving, find the kick's fundamental or whatever tone, either raise or boost, and then do the inverse to your 808 so they kind of have their own breathing room. And for me, a notch, not a shelf. Don't do that. I guess there's a case for anything, but all intents and purposes for EQ carving, masking, whatever, don't do that. Something else I like to add, disperser. Doesn't cut frequencies, kind of just smears them across time. Cover that in another video, you can look at that. So it adds body and kind of more movement to your kick or your 808, adds a little bit more expression. In some cases without adding mud because, it is across time. So if something doesn't take up that time after, it can add, never mind. Okay, another thing, saturation, it's the glue of everything. Could help individually with your kick, can help individually with your 808. So now that the 808 has some presence with what we've done, it cuts through a little nicer. The kick hits, adds some attack to the 808, and I feel like the 808 just kind of lives with it. No duck, no pump, just 2 elements sharing the same space. Okay, so moving on. The diagnosis shows some collision. The kick is losing some of the punch. The 808 needs to yield slightly, but only slightly. It almost becomes too thumpy. Once it starts going through compression and different other things, it can sound almost too much. This is kind of the most common scenario, in my opinion. Light sidechain. And before I show the setup, I need to show you what sidechain is. So hopefully I do it some justice. Get some things right that others do not. There are tutorials that have hundreds of thousands of views that get it wrong, so let's do it here. This is what I've seen done. They take their 808, look at the length of the kick, and then draw up automation. And they just copy and paste that. I think that's wrong. That's volume automation. It's the same shape every kick. It's almost like MIDI triggering your sidechain. So if you have a MIDI note goes in, it just triggers down every single time. And that's volume automation in a sense. I guess it works well for heavy sidechaining. I'm gonna move on from that. What I'm trying to get at is the duck is the same amount, regardless if the kick is hard or soft. Like if it hits hard or if it hits soft, it's the same every single time. It's volume automation. And the release, they just set it by looking at the waveform. It's not necessarily a method, it's a guess. And I tell you what, if it's a guess, sometimes a guess is all you hear. Audio input sidechain actually hears the volume of the kick. Hard kick, more duck. Soft kick, less duck. This light type of sidechaining is probably the hardest type of sidechaining. You have another variable to listen to, dynamics. So at this level of settings that we're doing here, you can actually hear the difference of sidechaining. It's crazy, I know. Heavy aggressive music, you literally hear everything duck, which has its place. Okay, so the setup. Compressor on the 808. The source is the kick, that's the audio input. Ratio 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, whichever one. Intentionally light. Attack, fast. Gotta catch the kick's moment when it, goes through. Okay, the release time, BPM. This is also in another video. I'm not gonna do a visual feel here. I'm gonna do math and then feel it out. 60,000 divided by your BPM, 1 beat in milliseconds. At whatever BPM I'm at, because I might change it, that's milliseconds. So I may divide that by 2 or 4 to get divisions of my 1 beat, so it'd be 8th notes or 16th notes or whatever, and then feel it out from there. Anyways, this is the last setting I decided on. So I'll start pulling down the threshold until I start getting some gain reduction. Now look at those dips, they're barely there, just slightly. But the kick has its moment. The 808 still moves, still breathes, and it still has its expression, a controlled expression. All right, moving on. The one I've been nagging at the whole time. Heavy sidechain. Different genre, different relationship. That's first things first. I started in this type of music. The pump is the point. In this, the 808 and the kick are not sharing space at all. They go back and forth. They're separate. The sidechain compression is not a fix. It's more like a feature, if you want to think of it like that. So when you're diagnosing this with your ears, diagnose things with your ears, this shows heavy collision. The genre calls for pump, so commit to it. Ratio 4:1, higher, a high ratio. Attack, fast. Release, I still do the 60,000 method, and this would actually give you a nice pumping feel. Threshold, pull it down, a lot of gain reduction. The 808 is ducking a lot and coming back fast. So that rhythm is the groove of this genre or this style or what I'm imagining. Same technique, different intention. And this is exactly why real audio input matters, even here. Kick velocity varies across a pattern. A volume envelope gives you the same amount of duck each time. So I guess in this case, if you want to do that in this genre, you can, but audio input is nice, in my opinion, as well. I'm just saying real sidechain gives you pump that breathes with the performance every time, even in electronic music. The 808 is not a problem to be managed. In hip-hop, it's an emotional instrument. It carries the feeling of the track, the way a bass player does in a live event. So the best engineers have the right instinct, so let's be better engineers. No sidechain, light compression, light sidechain, whatever. Commit to the pump, commit to the heavy sidechain, whichever. Instinct is what you call when you've already built the framework. That's different. You've internalized it so deeply you even forgot it was like a system in place. I'm asking more so, what does the relationship need? Read the relationship first, engineer it second. That's how I engineered this vibe. Same 808, same kick, 3 different decisions. By the way, we all have to train our ears. I'm not going to hear what you hear, you're not going to hear what I hear. It's up to the listener. Read the samples first, ear, and then look at your spectrum analyzer. So no collision, EQ masking, EQ carve, disperser, cool option, saturation, glue compression, definitely. Then we got some collision, light sidechain, audio input, BPM synced release on your sidechain, maybe. Then if you have heavy collision, you got aggressive music, commit, audio sidechain or MIDI sidechain. Other tutorials give you the instinct or the physics or the steps. This one gives you diagnosis, the decision, and the waveform proof for all 3 scenarios. The sidechain decision is to service the track. It's not a default. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.